about, it feels like a million years ago when I first became Iron Man, and that's when we get the scene, and it makes you reminisce because, that movie was 11 years ago now, and who would have thought when that movie kicked off that we were going to get a franchise that we have? Who would have thought after the first Iron Man that we would eventually get to a point where Avengers Endgame, a movie that we have seen less than 8 minutes of footage of, is the most anticipated movie of the year, not even close, and it's the same year that Star Wars Episode 9 is being released. Who would have thought that we would get to this point? I love that because you can reminisce in storyline in the movies, and it also reflects about reminiscing in real life as well. We also get a line of dialogue, to my surprise, from Peggy Carter. We hear her talk about, you just need to start over. We can't go back to how life once was. And that's her talking to Steve in The Winter Soldier. And I love that line of dialogue because it double applies. She talks about how you can't go back to how your life was. You're a young man while all your friends are old, and you just have to start over. And that line directly applies to the events, the aftermath of Infinity War. And I love that line, and I love that they repurposed it. I guess it's not so surprising because, well, I don't think we're going to see Peggy Carter, but I also think there is a chance we do in some sort of flashback or some sort of time travel potentially. But we do see in the first trailer, he looks at his locket, not a necklace locket, but a pocket watch with Peggy Carter's picture in it. And so I feel like her memory and her voice is going to be a big part about this movie for Captain America. Moving on, in the trailer, we don't see any footage of Thanos, which I really like because it goes on to show that this movie is going to be, the villain of this movie is just going to be the Avengers dealing with the aftermath. And I love that. I love that this movie, I believe we will see Thanos, but I don't feel like he's going to be as integral of a part as he was in Infinity War. I don't think he'll have nearly as much screen time. I think the majority of this movie is going to be the Avengers living with the aftermath and trying to move on. All right, another great scene that I love. Ant-Man, it feels like he's right out of the quantum realm because he's looking around all confused. A detail that I think a lot of people didn't notice is just how overgrown everything is. Because this kind of has to show that when he comes out of the quantum realm, it's not going to be immediately after. He's looking at a telephone pole with all these missing posters up. There's not a single strand of wood on the telephone pole available. It's just covered in missing posters with all these different people. And there's this house that the trash and recycle is left out, and that's overflowing. There's overgrown shrubs and trees and grass, and it's almost growing out of the house. It's at this point now where it seems like when he comes back, it's going to be at least, I feel, it's got to be at least a year of people just living in this world and not accepting it necessarily, but trying to move on, trying to just accept that this is the world they live in. I just love how confused he is because he doesn't know what happened. He was in the quantum realm when the snap occurred. We know that he didn't get pulled out because Hank Pym, Hope Van Dyne, and Janet Van Dyne all got dusted. So he's confused. And I love that aspect of the fish out of water going on, and he doesn't know what's going on. I'm really excited for Ant-Man in this movie. I've been very excited for Ant-Man to join the Avengers since he was introduced in 2015's first Ant-Man, because I think Ant-Man is a very underrated movie, and I love Paul Rudd's performance. Moving on, in the trailer, we see Hawkeye reminiscing with Black Widow. The red hair threw me off because, as we know, Black Widow was blonde for all of Infinity War. They're reminiscing, and obviously they have the history together at S.H.I.E.L.D., and the mysterious Budapest. Who knows if we'll ever know what that means, but it seems like, I mean, these two were just SHIELD agents, and now they're going up against this intergalactic force. We also see War Machine and Rocket Raccoon team up. I think that's a pretty sweet shot that we got. We had Hawkeye running through all the fiery explosions. We don't know where that's going on. We see Ant-Man shrunken down, leaping onto a pencil with all this fire around him. And that makes me think, a lot of people are saying this shot is on Titan 2 after they go and they try to take on Thanos, but why would there just be a random pencil? And I think there's a headphone jack later on, so I wonder if this is taking place in the Avengers headquarters. Are they going to be attacked by Thanos on Earth? Is he going to come down and try to take the fight to them? Is he going to realize that they're planning some sort of attack back on him? And then there's that money shot of Captain America gritting his teeth. His face is all bare. He tightens that shield. This got me in my feels, because I do not think this is the last scene we will see Captain America in, because, I mean, I do sadly believe that this is going to be Captain America's swan song, but this scene just, that's Captain America, man. He's charred, he's grit, he's ready to fight, and whether this is on Titan 2 or back on Earth remains to be seen. And then we eventually get that money shot of all the Avengers walking in their new white suits. Just a bit of an explainer. I could be wrong because nothing is confirmed, but I believe those are their quantum realm suits. A lot of people were theorizing those are their space suits, but I believe those are the suits they're going to use to travel through the quantum realm, go back in time, and that's when they're going to... That's going to be the main plot of how to resolve the conflict through time travel. And there is a bit of a spoiler that Tony Stark is back with the Avengers. But, I mean, we all knew he was getting out of space. I was just surprised to see Marvel confirm that for us in the trailer. And I love that they're being led by Captain America. Again, this is Captain America's movie. I've been saying it since the first trailer. I think I've been saying it since Infinity War wrapped, when we really didn't get a lot of Captain America in Infinity War. But nonetheless, this is Captain America's movie. He's leading the charge. I believe we've seen the most of him out of all the Avengers in all the trailers. And then we do get that ending shot where Thor interacts with Captain Marvel. They're both looking at each other, no expression whatsoever, grim-faced. He grabs Stormbreaker, he looks at her, and he goes, I like this one. And then April 26th. Be sure to get your tickets when they drop, I believe in April. I love that ending shot. I like how they have Captain Marvel in, but they're not forcing her in. They know she's a divisive character. And also the movie just came out. And so if I didn't see this movie, Captain Marvel, opening weekend, I would have basically had it spoiled for me that she meets up with them at the beginning of the movie. Because obviously we see in Captain Marvel's post-credit scene that kind of reaffirms all that. But yeah, this trailer was so sweet because out of everything I just said, nothing really reveals the plot. All the plot elements that you get are from me theorizing. And I just think that's a pretty sweet way of marketing this movie. Also, I mean, I played it in the theme song and I didn't even reference it. When they're saying, whatever it takes, we get that from Captain America, Hawkeye, I believe Black Widow, and Tony Stark. I'm not 100% clear, but I am roughly 90% clear that those are the heroes saying those words. I love the mantra of just whatever it takes. I love that slogan that they're using. I hope it's used in the movie as a way of uniting the Avengers. I hope that becomes the movie tagline. I think that would be an amazing tagline. And yeah, this trailer just got me so excited. I go to school in Syracuse, and my two friends that I always see Marvel movies with, they go to school in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. and we have always gone to see Marvel movies together at our favorite theater, the Showcase Cinema in Randolph, Massachusetts. And for the longest time, we were trying to theorize, okay, how are we going to see this movie together? Because this is the cinematic event of the century, as one of my friends put it. Whether that's a superlative or not remains to be seen. But yeah, this movie, basically we were talking about how we were going to somehow meet halfway. After seeing this trailer, this reassured me, no, I am making the drive from Syracuse, New York, all the way back to Randolph for this movie. I do not care that it's 5 hours. I do not care the waste of gas. This movie I need to experience with the people I've experienced Marvel movies with all my life. And this movie, I'm going on a bit of a tangent. I don't even know what to say. I cannot express my excitement enough. And it's gonna be sad, because this is gonna wrap up Phase 3, but it's gonna wrap up this first decade of Marvel movies. Captain America, we might not see him again. Tony Stark, we might not see him again. We might not see another Thor movie. Thor might survive, but we might not see another Thor movie until maybe he's only going to make cameos for the future. We don't know what's going to be going forward with the MCU. And that just gets me, it gets me sad, but it also gets me excited for this movie. I've heard rumors, it's not confirmed, I've heard rumors that the footage we have seen is from 8 minutes of footage the Russos gave to the trailer companies. Because remember, Marvel doesn't make the trailers, the trailer companies make the trailers. They're trying to sell the movie, the marketing team. I've heard rumors that the footage is only from 8 minutes of the movie that the Russo brothers have selected. And that gets me so excited, because that means over 2 hours of this movie is still a mystery. Furthermore, the rumor is that this movie is going to be 3 hours long. Please make this movie 3 hours. I love that the Russos are trying not to budge. They're trying to, wager with Disney. Listen, we know it will make less money if it's a longer runtime. That's just how it works. Longer movies can't be shown as frequently. I mean, Avatar kind of breaks that rule, but it was the first 3D movie, whatever. Point is, longer movies don't make as much money. But the last one was 2.5 hours. Let's just make this one the full 3 hours. They don't want to sacrifice key plot elements just for the sake of, making a desired runtime. That's how a lot of movies suffered. And I don't think this movie would suffer if they cut off 20 to 30 minutes. But I think this movie deserves, after 11 years, after 21 movies, this is a saga that will never be replicated. It's been tried to replicate. They tried it with the DC universe, which has taken so many left turns. I wonder if they're still on the same road. The Universal Monster universe, that died after 2 movies, maybe it was only 1 movie. The Mummy, I believe, was the movie that was supposed to kick that off. And yeah, that just kind of washed away. The Fast and the Furious movies have been trying to do this. They're trying to break off into spin-offs and whatnot. We'll see how Hobbs and Shaw performs. I actually have been entertained by their trailers. But the point is, the MCU is a cinematic collection unlike any other. It will never be replicated, and now with the 22nd movie, the 22nd installment in this cinematic television series deserves to be 3 hours. It deserves to be fan service, and it deserves to be made for the people that have been there since the first Iron Man. I saw the first Iron Man in theaters when I was 8 years old. When I was in elementary school, that's when I started with this Marvel universe. And since then, I'm now a freshman in college, and now it's all getting wrapped up. I have grown up with the Marvel movies. I have matured with the Marvel movies. there's so much I love to go back and revisit with these movies.